What up?
What's
Just
good?
test, just testing. Hey y'all, this is I buy. This is I buy. You're welcome. You're welcome. How's
Yes.
everybody's day, man? How's everybody's day, man? Hey, we want to shout out, man, to our guy right here, Chad. His daughter is graduating high school. Saint Amand High School. Go Gators. Go Gators.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Gators, Gators, Santa Monica
How you
Gators.
feel about that, bro? Graduation is here.
Oh, I'm happy. It's a first steps. It's a first step into adulthood. Next step. Conquer one thing. Now it's time to conquer the next. So, that's how I see it. It's just one stop on the you know
Adult grade betrayed, huh?
Yep, yep.
Can we tell everybody what you doing after high school, man? Or y'all still got that on lock?
Oh no, it's not a secret or anything. She's attending Grambling State University.
The G, the G, you know it. You know it.
Um,
Exit 81.
yeah, I think it was her choice all along.
That's what's
Um,
up, man.
yep. So
So tell everybody what you said about Grambling, bro.
um, so I we visited a couple.
Uh-uh.
Well,
Uh-uh.
hold on. We visited a couple places other than Grambling, and I'm not going to name the other places. But the one thing that I was most impressed about Grambling, because I attended Grambling, and I graduated in 2000. Um, One of the things that I'm most impressed about Grambling now, especially compared to whenever I was there, was the fact that they're getting young people involved in all aspects of Grambling. Um, there were students involved in the orientation process, um, and displaying what being a part of the Graham fam or the Grambling family is all about. Um, they basically uh, ran the whole entire students ran the whole entire orientation process from the meet and greet in the beginning, the campus tours, all the way to um, just a Q&A for the parents as well as the students. Um, they were just very involved, even in the various departments when they got an opportunity to meet the department heads of all the different areas of study. They had a student present to give students the real, and I think that's key when you're trying to when kids are trying to make a decision. They relate more to people of their age bracket and age group. So I was really impressed with that. I was impressed with the presentation. It was very polished, but authentic though too. So um, and I've always said that about Grambling. I may be biased a little bit, but um, I think Grambling does a superb job of taking that diamond in the rough and polishing it up. And by the time they become juniors and seniors, they are um, ready for the workforce. They're ready for the real world. I think they just do an awesome job of doing that, preparing uh, students for their careers. Man, like I said, I may be biased a little bit. Um, I had an opportunity to attend more diversity, and I just see that that's the difference. You know, I just see that's the difference.
Now you're gonna say what the hell I asked you to say.
What is it?
So no, and this is real, man. You have to choosing the right school to attend is like choosing the right girlfriend, the right wife. You have to make sure that you pick a school that's gonna love you back, that's gonna be loyal to you, that's gonna give you the academic stems you need, like Chad said, to be able to grow by the time you get to your junior and senior year. And I remember, I think Chad and I, we've been friends over the double digit years now for a few years. But I remember him telling me this about Grambling, that if he doesn't attend Grambling, he isn't the man he is today. That Grambling helped mold him in such a way to where um, he knew whom he was
Right,
and why he turned out to be the way he turned out to be.
right.
Um,
I
very high.
think, not to cut you off, but I think, man, for me, Grambling nurtured me in a way that the other school that I went to, did not. Uh, some of it was tough love, um, but some of it also was, hey, I'm gonna give you the practical tools you need in order to be able to make it. You know,
Right,
especially career wise, being in education, um, with Grambling being historically a normal school, normal meaning education and agriculture school. Um, Grambling was created, or one of the reasons why Grambling was created, to educate, to educate the world. So, um, and so, for that reason, man, Grambling, I gained a lot of um, relationships that I still have to this day. Um, that I don't think I would have gained, or wouldn't have been as pivotal, um, in my growth, the previous place the place that I was before. Now, don't get me wrong. Um, the place where I was before, it had its value as well. It was different. It was a different value. But man, I'm thankful for my Grambling experience. I'm thankful for my other experience as well, because I learned
what,
a lot there as well.
what would that be? uh UL.
At that time, it was USL.
Man,
Yes.
ain't nobody going back that far. It's UL, dang it.
Yep. UL. Man, I'm thankful for that experience as well. Man, I learned a lot there too. Uh,
ULL,
yep.
University of Louisiana at Lafayette.
Yep. Yep.
I know I know and have met a lot of great young men and women that has not only went through the GSU portal of life, but definitely the UL portal of life. Um, and again, I hope nobody takes this the wrong way. Choose whatever school you're comfortable with going to,
No
but go
doubt.
to a school,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
go to a
Yes.
college, go
Yes.
to a university, go to a trade school, go to a JUCO, go somewhere.
Yes.
It all helps build, and it's not even what you can do for the college or university or wherever you're attending. It's what you can do for them, not what they can do for you, because you add value to life. We add value to life at the end of the day.
Hmm.
We can do a lot of things throughout the course of our walk in this world, But if it doesn't add character, if it doesn't add value, if it doesn't add morals, if it doesn't convict you, what the
Mhm.
hell are you doing?
Yeah. Hey, I want to give a shout out to USL too, um, because I gained a lot of. I didn't gain a lot of relationships as it related to my professors and and all there, but I gained a lot of relationships with other students. You know, some of my homeboys, like I said, I still talk to today. Played football there for a little stint as well. So, I gained a lot of relationships there as well. Um, People always ask me what was the difference between the two experiences and which one was better. And I always say, man, it no no experience, none of the two experiences were better or worse. It was just different. And I took from it uh the value from it. So when I was at ULL, living was easy, but school was challenging. And when I got to Gramblin's, living was challenging and school was easier. But you know, I- they both had a certain level of value as it related to my maturity and and growth in life. You know, and it helped me to navigate. It helps me to navigate life now too. So I take and I draw from both of the experiences, man. It was both were great experiences. So um, it Another thing that I always tell students who are trying to make those types of decisions, um, hey, people are always gonna. I've heard a lot of people say, "Man, you need to go to college. You need to go to college," and I don't push that. I push advanced education in some way, shape, form, or fashion is for everyone. You have to get something beyond a high school diploma, whether it's uh, trade school, whether it's uh, a certification, whether it's a CDL, a forklift license, a TWIC card, your OSHA, whatever it is, it's going to help you to reach your greatest potential. And that's what you need to do. And it's not always in the form of college. I know, man, one of my good homeboys, my softball partners, man, he make more than me. He went to school for 2 years and I went to school for 5. So it's not you know, it's about what you want out of life, man. And so and it doesn't mean that everybody has to go the same route.
Facts. Parents, when you think about who your child has been um, entering into high school, maybe the child that you had to go in there and beat with a stick to get them to move, to start waking up, or they weren't too swift to be responsible enough to just do their homework on their own. Maybe they had a couple of fights as a freshman. Maybe they even got suspended as a freshman or said something slick to the teacher. How much evolution and growth have you seen in your child over the last 4 years as they prepare to go off to college? Uh, I know for me, I have a son that graduated recently, just recently as 2020, which is only 3 years ago. Um, I know for me, the one thing that scared the dickens out of me was how in the hell is this boy gonna get up to go to class? We got to cuss and threaten to take the power cord away from the Xbox and all this crap. And now watching my daughter grow up as a freshman in high school, she's just different than Hobart was. Uh,
Mhm.
she still may not want to want to get up and get the moving right off because she's a sleeper. But as far as grades go and doing the right thing, which Hobart always did the right thing too. His issue was he just didn't like school, and that's fine too.
Right.
Uh, but what are some of the challenges that you guys worry about seeing your freshman go to senior year, and now this new challenge of going off to college? What's one of your worries?
Um, uh, I've seen a lot of growth in my daughter from freshman year to senior year. Um, I think, man, as parents, sometimes we want to see the process, you know, expedited a lot quickly than what it's supposed to go. Because I'm included. Because we try to keep pounding the fact that you have to be a little bit more expedient in doing these things and explaining the reason why they should, and you get a lot of pushback and all that good stuff. But I think the one thing that I have to remind myself too is that a lot of this is a seed planting situation. You know,
Facts.
you put the seed in the ground, and it's not gonna come up today. It's not gonna come up tomorrow. But you have to know and understand and hope and pray that you know um, that seed will grow. And sometimes it may take a little bit longer than what you hope for and expect. So when I look at my daughter as it relates to this situation, uh, I've been kind of, and then sometimes too, it it depends on who it's coming from. Um, you know, I have acquiesced to my wife with certain situations as well. Um, for one reason or another, because how we are as dads. When we stomp on the ground, we want we want the whole world to shake. We want it to happen right now. And sometimes, man, we just got to take a step back and understand that you know in due time some things are going to happen. And so I see my daughter, um some of the things that I was preaching in ninth and 10th grade, she's doing now. you know but it wasn't on my time, it was on her time. you
Right.
know or in due time. Maybe she wasn't mature enough to receive it at that time. But again, like, it's a seed planting process. And so I've seen her go from I believe that she's an introvert to a certain extent. But I appreciate that more because she takes pause and analyzing certain situations, and she's able to decipher what's good and what's not. So I think that's a great skill. Um, I think maybe in the beginning it was done out of fear, but I think now it's it's developed into a tool. You know, and I think that's we have a lot of kids that's very impulsive, and then after the fact they think about it and they like, man, that's not the best route to go about handling the situation. So I do appreciate that about her. My fears going into this college experience. Um, Again, I just hope that she uses that pause, that tool, to make a good decision. I think you know it's on a lot of things, man, and a lot of it has to do with decision making. But I mean, thus far, I think she's made some good decisions, and I hope she just owns whatever decisions she makes. And whenever you own it and you can deal with it, whether it's favorable or not favorable, you own it, you deal with it, move on, and then hopefully learn from the ones that's not so favorable.
Hey, you've known me for a long time. Now you've been around my children. They look at you as an uncle. They love you holistically. They rather probably deal with you sometimes when I'm raging,
Right.
when I'm raging more than they want to deal with me. But the one thing that I can say, man, and I'm telling y'all, this is like with all sincerity. I was really afraid for Hobart when he got in his car and drove off to college on his own. One, I was afraid because I didn't know if he could handle the responsibility of having transportation unsupervised.
Mhm.
Right? You can't watch your kids when they go off to college,
Right.
um, but you've had them for 18 years. And so the one thing that when I talk to the people that I talk to in my inner circle, all of them was very abundantly clear about trusting what you put into your child.
Right. Right.
Whatever that may be that you put into your child, you have to trust that. And so I knew that I had given my very best effort into making sure that he was a responsible young man. You can't go to class for him. It doesn't matter what you try to teach him. You cannot go to class for him. You couldn't go in high school. You're not going to be able to go to class for them in college. And so that's where uh, fatherly intuition comes in at, and just, hey man, be honest to me. Don't lie to me. Don't BS me. But the and still to this very moment in life, I'm super proud of Hobart and Devontae. They give their very best effort every single day. Hobart um, is showing so much responsibility as a young adult. Just made 21 yesterday.
Oh, that's
Um, that
awesome.
made me that made me really proud. The one tidbit that I want to give you guys though, and this means a lot, especially if you spoiled your children. So Hobart, in 4 years of high school, he ate at the cafeteria in high school not one time.
Right.
One time. He didn't eat in the cafeteria. Like he would go all day without eating and endure basketball practice or endure football practice, without eating. Unless he was just really hungry and he'd say, can somebody bring me something today? But I never remember him eating in the cafeteria. And so now I'm telling y'all this for a reason now, because if you didn't make your child eat food in the cafeteria in high school, don't send your child off 3, 4, 5 hours away. And now you expect them to want to go to the student union to eat. They're not going to do it. They aren't.
Mm.
They may go in there and grab a juice or a milk or something.
Right. I think, man, sometimes that's a blessing and a curse, man. When we spoil our kids, um, it's a blessing because we have it like that. Because I know when I came up, I didn't have a choice. That's all we had. But because our parents made certain sacrifices to us, it lends us to be able to open up certain avenues that wasn't available to us. But I always say, man, though sometimes we give our kids more, we're actually giving them less.
Mhm.
Uh, because, man, I think when you asked the question earlier, what is it that I fear the most? I can remember at this juncture in life, you know, graduating from high school, I believe that I had more life experiences than my daughter. Now, granted, I was a boy, my daughter's a girl, and that maybe it's an unfair comparison because maybe I should compare my daughter to my sister, you know. But our situations is totally different, you know. My father passed away when my sister was a senior, so our whole modes of thinking and responsibilities, our whole mindset was a little bit different, you know, because life situations was different. But um, so we had a different sense of responsibility um, too, um, and I think too our motivations were different too. Like when I left to go to college, I knew that I couldn't come back without a degree. Or in my mind, I was like, I can't come back without a degree. Um, because I felt a sense of responsibility not only to myself, but everybody who sacrificed and made a way for me to go.
Right.
Um, but that was my motivation. That was my motivation. I don't think you know our kids motivation is the same. I don't think my daughter's motivation is the same, and I could be wrong. I could be 1,000% wrong. But it's not overtly shown. I can say that. Um, so at the end of the day, all I want for her is to be the best version of herself that she could be and reach
Right.
her highest potential, whatever that potential is. I just don't want a half-hearted, um, you know, lazy effort.
Right.
It's just something that I just can't. I can't
Tolerate.
accept. I can't accept. And she, I'm gonna tell you, probably of my three kids, she's probably the hardest worker. She probably is. Um, I think she puts the greatest effort as it relates to academics. I'll say, you know, my son, he kind of got it easy. You know, he's just naturally things just come easy to him. I believe, you know, but she has to work a little harder. And in that respects, man, I don't think, you know, as it related to what I was speaking to earlier, I think whatever it is that she wants, she's gonna work hard to be able to get it. Um, so the academic part of it and doing what was necessary to be the best version of herself, I think she's gonna do that. You know, I kind of worry about the other things, the the social aspect of it and all this stuff. No, I'm worried. I'm worried about the life experience stuff. That because she, like I said, you know, she doesn't have a lot of the life experiences that I had whenever I started college. I mean, I was you know, I went on trips by myself. I you know, experience overnight trips without my parents and all those different things. Not because you know my parent, well, probably because my parents couldn't do it, and you know, I just was just surrounded by a lot of people, man, that made ways for me to be able to do things, and my parents, you know, trusted those people. Well, we don't live in that day and age anymore. You know, they with all the crazy stuff that's happening. So, you know, we've been a little bit more hands on. So, um, yeah, that's I guess that's my fear. But no, she's going to my alma mater, so I have a lot of people that I know up there, and a lot of good people up there, man. And so uh, I think that everything's gonna be okay.
Right. Um, man, I know this right here. Um, I was super tough on Devontae. Um, I was probably tougher on Hobart than I was on Devontae, um, just because of the different scenarios. But both of those experiences have helped me be a better father to my daughter.
Mhm.
Um, and I Hobart has even told me, said, "Man, the stuff you let her get away with, you would have beat the hell out of me for."
Yeah.
And I think that's just a part of growing as a parent.
Yep. Yep.
Uh, you know, the probably when Hobart was 10 and the way we used to work out and stuff,
Mhm.
um, just figuring out that it doesn't take a 3 hour workout. If you're a good motivator, you can get the same work done in 45 minutes.
Right. Right.
And so I've given probably my daughter a whole lot more leeway as far as training goes. She still has stuff that she's required to do and that
Right.
I check on quite frequently and make sure that she's doing. But I would have been more hands-on about the whole ordeal. And like the old me wouldn't have never been okay with her not playing basketball.
Right.
Like I
Yeah.
would have never been okay with that.
Right.
And I'm perfectly fine with it. Because I understand that, you know, her passions are her passions.
Yep. Yep.
Her life choices are her life choices. And it took me um getting into verbal confrontations with Hobart. Um, a lot of stuff that people thought was me, it wasn't me. Hobart just didn't want to do it. And me forcing him to do something that he did not want to do wasn't going to help our relationship and wasn't going to make him give his best effort in whatever it was that someone wanted him to do.
Right.
It was 1,000 people that called me, um, man, bring your boy and let me train him. He's like, man, I ain't going to them dudes. I don't know them people. They just trying to build clout off my name.
Hmm.
His decision. Okay, son. Well, that's fine.
Right.
You know, what growth panels and the longevity of relationship with child versus parent.
Right.
We got to do a better job at allowing our kids to make their own life choice. As long as they're making responsible life choices and
Right.
decisions, we can't stunt their growth in real life situations.
Right.
You know,
Right. I think too, we need to understand our kids, and we need to know that they're all different. It's no this cookie cutter thing. I'm gonna once I do it with one, I'm gonna do it with the next one, do it with the next one, do it with the next one, because they with me, different kids with three different personalities, three different motivations, three different mindsets, and so understanding I can't the things that I say to and say about my son, I can't say to my daughters, you know, because their motivation, their tolerance level, their uh, emotional stability is all different, you know. And what moves them and motivates them is different, So you know, as it relates to sports, man, the mentality, the sports mentality from my son and my daughter is totally different, man.
right,
And and then a lot of it too has to do with the experience, experiences they've had. You know, my son has had a variety of different coaches, so his motivation and his tolerance and everything is different than my daughter, who only had a few coaches. So she's used to and comfortable with a certain coaching style.
Right.
So um, and so for a while, and being that your father is a coach, you know, it and that's a whole nother dynamic with it too. Because sometimes when they come home and they tell you about their experience at practice, you know, they want you to get out of coach mode and they want you to get into dad mode. But it's kind of hard whenever you're a coach, because what a coach is trying to get out of a kid, you know. But so it's man, it's challenging. It's challenging. And then when it comes to parenting too, again, you need to know your kids and know what moves them and what doesn't, and and set the bar and the standard, and have everybody on the same page. And guess what? It don't work good sometimes. It don't work good sometimes, you know, but we just need to continue to press toward the mark, man, because we can't let our kids uh, falter and fail. Because if they falter and fail, let it be because of what they're doing, not because they're not being taught. You know,
Right.
or, you know, and this is the one thing that I know. You know, coming up, man, my dad used to say a whole bunch of different things, and I was like, man, this dude crazy. I don't know what this man talking about. It's a bunch of nonsense. Uh, he don't understand and all that good stuff. But as you grow older and you gain wisdom, you understand where pops was coming from, and I find myself, I'm just like him. You revert back to the things. Uh, you know, I like to think all the good things that he was trying to get me to see and understand, and I just want to give. I take the best of my father and I try to incorporate them, tweak them into to my parenting repertoire, and I hope that my kids will take the best of me and do the same. You know.
Right. Right. I definitely, man. Bro, it was no greater joy for me than to see Hobart give KJ the same thing I gave him at the same age. Like, that meant a lot to me.
Yeah.
Um, and you just have to be paying attention to know if your child paid attention to you.
Yeah.
It's never gonna come. It's never gonna come the way you think that it should come, I guess.
Right.
But it being a parent is the second greatest gift you give. If you don't know what the first one is, you've never had a personal relationship with God. But
Right.
definitely being a parent, man, that is an emotional roller coaster.
Yeah.
Uh, because we love our children. That's the other thing. You can't love your kids and someone else who went through the exact same 7, 8, 9 month process or 42 weeks or whatever it is. Like, everybody love their child or their children. Some may not know how to express that in a live manner, but that doesn't mean that they don't love their kids. And so when we see a parent bragging on their child or their children, clap with them. They are supposed to brag on their children.
Right.
They're supposed to.
Right.
Don't be that guy. Don't be that girl.
Right.
Don't be an effing player hater.
I think though too. In addition to that, parents, man, if you love your kids like you say you love your kids, don't be afraid to correct your kids too. Man, I, you know, and the things that I do, um, career wise, and even outside of my career, and volunteering and doing different things, man, I just see too often, man, too many things go unsaid, and man, I think the worst thing is you let your kid do wrong, man, and you don't correct it.
Right.
That it 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 troubles me to to on many different levels, and not in any malicious way. It kind of hurts my heart, man, because I see so many kids doing so many different things that they shouldn't, and I believe that a lot of them, if told early enough, would we could reroute them and making a lot of monumental mistakes, man, that can alter their life path. Man, it bothers me. I mean, no, it bothers me so. It bothers me so. Sometimes I come home and I tell my wife about different experiences that I have during the course of the day, or whatever, and she said, "I don't want to talk about that today." It
she
troubles
had,
me.
she had her own experience doing the day.
Right, right, right. And I'm not just talking about where I work. I'm talking about even in the community. In my old neighborhood, in my current neighborhood, and everything. I see just so many, and I know it's hard these days because people don't want nobody. They don't want
Correction them.
anybody correcting their kid and everything. But it's hard for me to watch a kid do wrong. And I'm not talking about the gray area wrong, but I'm talking about blatant, just
Right.
wrong, like unequivocally wrong. And 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 just not say anything to the kid. And now maybe sometimes you don't know what to say or how to say it or to do it in a way that's you know, I guess that's acceptable or whatever.
Man.
Um,
Say
you
parents,
know,
couple of little other tidbits. Some of your kids are already out of school.
mm,
The last day was Monday or today, or it may be tomorrow. For the schools up north who don't get out of school till September, they're about 30 days from being finished with finals and turning in papers and
right.
all that. Parents, your kids are not going to be in school anymore. They're going to eat more food. The,
Make them get a job.
the one thing that I'm going to ask is don't kids out yet. Even if they're going to college or not, don't allow your kids to stay at home, make them responsible. Just because they don't have school, don't let them stay out to 10:30, 11:30, midnight. My granddad always told us nothing open after midnight but legs and liquor stores. So you either getting drunk or you getting pregnant. That ain't personal. Don't take it personal. Um, I think that we have to allow our kids to understand what adulting is. Don't throw your kids out and you ain't taught them how to save money because you ain't had no money to save. You cannot save money if you barely making enough to pay your bills.
Or wash clothes.
Right, right.
Like, yeah, man. Um, I can honestly say, man, I didn't know it when it was happening, but my parents were teaching how to gradually was teaching me how to be independent from the time I turned like 15. You know, I didn't understand the process. I give you a great example. Like when I turned 15, I got my driver's license. My dad said, "Okay, you 15, you got to get a job." I'm like, "Get a job, man? What you talking about?" He said, "Well, you gonna want a car, right?" So, so I started working, worked at McDonald's, and
Welcome to McDonald's, man. I'll take your order,
I
please.
was Calvin. I was Calvin. I got the nickname Calvin. Um, and from there, but what he was building was responsibility. Hey, you need to wake up. You need to make sure your work clothes is washed. You need to be on time. All those different things. And then from there, he said, now because you've mastered this responsibility, you're gonna get this new privilege. But with this privilege comes a responsibility. So I got a vehicle. Then I thought, hey, I got it made. I got money. I got a car. He was like, oh, you got to pay for your insurance. I'll never forget. It was $75 a month. So I had to work to pay my insurance. And then when I saved up money, I said, oh, I'm gonna get these car. I'm gonna get these rims. I'm gonna get this radio. I'm gonna get this and that and that and the other. And so my dad was like, well, no, you need a battery in your car. You need tires. You need tools. Because you're gonna need to be able to
Oh,
fix.
I don't like Mr. Wilson. I don't like Mr. Wilson. There was just
Right,
always somewhere you made a
right,
plan, seem like.
right. But guess what? All those things that he said, I actually needed.
Right.
And so, he was teaching me responsible with the new privilege, and so all that to say, it was just gradual. That's at 15. That's like end of my ninth grade year, on to my 10th grade year. And like I said, my father passed away 3 days before I started college. Well, I really didn't understand and figure it out, but really I was being responsible when I was gaining tools along the way,
Right.
that made it easy for me to transition into going off to college by myself. I knew how to wash clothes. I knew, what it took to maintain a car. I knew what it, I was already, you know, understanding about staying out late because I was working late and so forth and so on. So, you know, I'm saying all that to say, you originally made the statement, don't toss your kids out cold turkey, everything. I would suggest parents to start granting you know, those responsibilities. And once they master the responsibility, give them a privilege that came with another responsibility. And that way, whenever you reach this point where say, hey, you're on your own right now, you got to get this done, you know, they can transition easy into adulting because that's really what it is. It's a gradual process. So, you know, I never forget when I went to orientation. Uh, Shout out to President Gallo at Grambling State. One of the first things he said was when he got on stage, he said, "How many of y'all parents are waking your kids up for school every day?" And it was a bunch of parents raised their hand and said, "Stop that." He said, "Make them from now until graduation, make them wake up on their own." Said because whenever you get here, whenever they get here, there's not going to be anyone there to wake them up.
That's
You
right.
know, so um, so that gradual process, man, of granting responsibility, privileges and responsibilities, I think is key for our kids to mature into the next level of life.
Hey, and you just got to look at it from this vantage point. I saw, I watch a lot of reels and stuff. Question was asked, at what age do you put your child out? And someone was like, shit, as soon as they graduate, they got to go.
No.
You're not just a fool, you're a damn fool. Like, my daughter can stay wherever I am till she's 90. And that's just me, again, and she's showing to be uber responsible right now. So I know that's not going to be the case.
Right.
But why put your child out at 18, 19, 20 and now they got to go out into the world and first hopefully get a job that doesn't end with McDonald's or King or We In This or Pope Yes, you know, uh, so that they can make enough money to pay for an apartment. But but now you want them to be able to pay for an apartment, pay for a house, pay light, water, and gas, insurance, life insurance. Like, why are we putting 40-year-old, 30-year-old responsibilities on 18-year-olds? Let them stay there and get them a car and pay for it. Let them stay home and save up 10, 12, 15 grand. And now when they go out, they can go out and you ain't got to buy them furniture because they got a couple of dollars saved up. That's
Well,
not going to break the bank.
well, I think the key is, man, they have to be productive. They have to have goals, and they have to be pushing towards those goals. And and the one thing that I find, and we had these conversations with my daughter, you know, ninth, 10th grade, 11th grade, all the way up until now. What are your goals? What are you trying to do? Like what is it that you're really trying to do? And many of the times when we had this conversation, it was that, ooh, that Scooby Doo thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it was like you got to put it on their mind, and you have to. They're not gonna do it on their own. You got to put it on the mind because they're not being pressed. They're not. You got
Right,
to press them in those things. And so they have to start making these decisions. So to figure out what it is that they want to do in life, they can't. I think the worst thing is for you to let them just sit up there and not do nothing and not have no responsibility and just, you just keep giving and giving. They keep taking. Then you complain about, hey, you know, my son, my daughter ain't doing this, ain't this, ain't that, ain't that. But well, man, what are you pouring into them? You know, uh, and I ain't trying to step on no toes or nothing like that because Lord knows I don't have all the answers, but I know you have to do something, and you have to do something. It has to be a gradual process, and you got to start putting some stuff in them so you can get some stuff out of them,
right,
you know, and having these types of conversations with them, like, hey, you know, you may not know what you want to do exactly, but let's talk about what steps are you going to take to get towards wherever it is that you're trying to go. Like if the goal is I need to get me an apartment, okay, so what are you going to try to do in order to be able to gain enough income so you can have your own apartment? What's the goal? What are you trying to do? Let's map this thing out. If that is the goal or whatever, or if you're trying to get a car, what is it that you need to do in order to be able to acquire and maintain this? you
right,
know so and so that's what it is. You have to do it. It has to start somewhere. This you're talking about, don't kick your kid out, but I tell you what, if they're 18 and they stand in your house, they shouldn't be staying for free. It has to cost them something, whether it's cost they whatever their responsibility is to contribute to the household. That's what needs to happen, and whatever it is that you establish. Yes, yes.
hell no.
You crazy, man.
If you put them out, who got to pay the bills?
No, but this is what I'm saying. They have to be, even now, even though they're, even as, not 18, they should still contribute to the household because they are a participant in the family. Everybody has a role in the family, you know. Even David was a shepherd, you know, with his family estate. Everybody has a role. So that's how we build, you know, productive people. Everybody has a role. Everybody has a job in the house and a responsibility in the house. So yeah, when they turn 18, all right, it was my I was required to do this up until you turn 18. Now you grown, as it relates to the age. Now some of these things you got to buy your own toothpaste. You know what I'm saying? You got to buy your own toothbrush. I'm not like then they going it's just like the old saying, why buy the cow when you could get the milk for free?
Hell no.
So you gonna give them the milk for free forever?
No, I'm gonna
I'm just saying.
again. I think this is uber important. See, this is why we need this discussion, but we only got 3 more minutes. Um, okay, son, you got to give me $50 a week or $100 every 2 weeks, and so now take that money, put it to the side for him,
Right.
but don't use it to pay bills because your children shouldn't pay your damn bills,
But they using your water.
and they ain't using that much water.
They using your electricity.
They ain't using that much electric.
If
Wait,
they ain't got no job,
wait a
hold
minute.
up.
I
If they
gotta
ain't
take
got
that
no
one back.
job and
I
you
got
go to
to take
work
that.
every day and the air conditioner running,
I got, but you got, you know, your ass ain't being hot in no house. Hold on, I gotta take that one back though.
I'm just
They,
saying.
they play them Xboxes and PlayStations.
But I do agree. I do agree with that. I do agree with the fact that you saying, you know, they have to pay something and you put it to the side to help them to actually just to show them that, hey, look, you know what? In this year's time, I've collected $1,200 from you, and I'm gonna use this because you've been so responsible, and you want a car, and you have X amount of dollars. I'm gonna match it with the money that you've already paid. I don't have a problem. Like I said, whatever it is that the agreement is, or whatever it is that your household sets forth. But what I'm saying is, you're building a dependence that's not gonna help them in the long run if you allow them to even have the thought that this is how it's supposed to go. Because
Man, y'all better these kids.
that's not the real world, bro.
Y'all better do right by them kids.
That's not the real world. And you
Y'all
know
better
it.
do right by them kids. Push that button, bro. On the other thing. Yeah. No. I'm gonna punch you when I see you. Hey man, it's been great chopping it up about college, man. Hey, we got more to come, you guys. Great, just great chat about preparing for your child to leave home and go to college and do all the stuff. This is the last thing. Don't act like y'all want no thoughts on college campuses, fathers and mothers. With that being said,
I ain't even doing it. Nuh-uh. Nope. Mm-mm. No. Mm-mm.
don't y'all dare do that. Don't do it. Hey man, we love you guys, man. Love out loud. Be the best version of you can be. Uh, Freaknik 94 Memorial Year, memorable year for most people. For those who are ass face down, ass up, maybe not so much. But hey man, just enjoy your kids while you can, man. I'm up next 2026. Chad is the year after that, 2028, 27 or 28. Hell, I don't know.
7.
Jake's 27. Um, yeah, 28. Jake's going to the 8th grade. Yeah, we still got more to come, man.
Yep.
But graduation is a great thing. Congratulations to all the parents who have kids graduating. What you got, bro? What you got? Final thoughts.
Final thoughts. Man, have a good time. Celebrate responsibly. Um, Encourage your kids to get advanced education beyond high school because it's needed.
Amen. Amen. That's it, you guys. We love you guys. Remember, get off the bench,
Get
get
into
into
the
the game.
game.